We welcome our listener to the Friendly Cross-European podcast. I'm Marion from France, and with me is Karoliina from Finland. We are the Outspoken Two, and we invite you to be your authentic self. In this episode, we are still gonna talk about relationships, because we haven't finished in the 3 parts we did already. So, tervetuloa. Sorry, this is my first time saying it. Welcome, bienvenue, and let's go.
Well done. Well done, my apprentice. Yes, thank you for that. And tervetuloa was good. Yes.
Okay.
Finnish is not the easiest language to pronounce. Oh, well, it's easy to pronounce, but it's difficult to learn, actually.
Maybe I'll try someday.
Yeah, it's such an useful and multinational language, you know. Finnish for all. And how have you been?
So you can place this episode very, very easily on the timeline on when we recorded it. Today is the French election, the first round.
Oh no.
Yeah. And I'm not happy with the result. Let's just say that. I won't go into detail because you don't need to know where. No, you can know. I'm a fucking leftist. I just want people to have money to, eat and have a fucking roof over their head.
How radical of you.
Oh yeah, I'm a truly horrible person because I truly believe that people shouldn't be sleeping in the streets and tax rich people, stuff like that. And yeah, we have a Nazi and how do you say that? He's a banker. He only thinks about his rich people and his rich people and his rich people. And the poor people don't mind. He really doesn't care. So yeah, that's not a great thing. And it's been years in France that we choose people not because we want them, but because they are the less horrible one. And I'm kind of sick of it.
Oh, that's sad.
Yeah, in France right now we are saying il faut choisir entre la peste et le choléra.
Oh.
You choose between the plague and cholera, and yeah, so choose the lesser of the two evils. That's all we are thinking. There are people who truly believe in what these two persons say.
Yeah, like in every election.
Yeah, and I'm not one of them. So, to be honest, neither of the candidates, like the 12 that we had, I didn't support any of them.
Oh my.
Yeah, I was like, yeah, you're the lesser of the evil. Like, you're the closest to what I think. And I voted that. But there was no one that I was like, yay, I want you to win. I was like, yeah, if you win, it would be maybe a bit less shitty. And I guess that's better than shitty things. That's it.
Yeah, that sounds very frustrating to say the least. So today I can cheer you up with more abuse stories. Whee!
Yes, this is the podcast of joy.
Yeah, shaking you directly up from your depressive state. More abuse.
Yeah.
And actually, I want to say before I start this last story of this arc. After I moved houses, my boyfriend is sitting in the same room as me when we are recording. And last podcast, we talked for 1 hour and 15 minutes or something. And we were already saying this is so long. But when we finished recording, my boyfriend went, "Oh, did you stop already? It was going so well that you could have easily talked for more." And that really warms my heart. I was like, oh, thank you. You are willing to listen to my voice.
But yeah, I think it's been a true, something in our relationship that was always true is how easily we talked with each other.
That's true.
I know we mentioned it multiple times, but I think it's what cemented it, because it's so easy for you to talk to me and for me to talk to you.
Yeah.
And it makes this friendship so easy.
Yeah.
I think.
How surprising that people who are having fun together are staying friends. Who would have thought?
Yeah. Yeah, surely. Who would have thought?
And yeah, I'm going to say some things about this relationship. It was only 2 months and a half or something like that, so it wasn't a very long relationship, but it has affected me because it wasn't the best relationship at all. So I had an old friend group, and at the outskirts of this friend group was a guy, and everyone in the friend group told me that he's an amazing person. I should get to know him. And I remember the first time I met him, he was making fun of my music taste, and I didn't enjoy that. And throughout the friendship I had with him before we started dating, I actually saw that he's a real life troll. Like, he's the person on Facebook who goes and fucks with other people, but with his comments.
Oh.
He has a complex of being always right. He's always right.
No.
So he's called Mr. Right, but he's not the Mr. Right for the right reasons. Actually, he called himself the objective reality. I would like to say that every one of us has their own reality, because we have different experiences in life. Some words, the same words, mean different to other people, because we have different experiences. Like in the last podcast, you said that late meant something different to you than your boyfriend.
Yeah.
Imagine if you said that your late is the objective truth.
That's not okay.
It's not okay. But anyway, my intuition was telling me that this person is not as great as everyone is telling me that he is. I was right, but of course I had to give him another chance and be friends with him and date him before I actually learned my lesson. I wasn't listening to myself at the time, I would say. But anyway, I realized that I was in love with him because he was very friendly to me. He had very good sense of humor, which I find very important in a relationship. And he was telling me that he's an advocate for equality between men and women. I told him that I'm in love with him one day when we were meeting each other, and he thought about it for a while, and he said that he's willing to date me.
Oh, that's not a good start. Like, I'm willing to date you.
Why?
Like, I'm not sure. Like, you're in love, and he's willing to date you.
I was kind of fresh out of a relationship at the time, 2 months. Like, I had been single for 2 months when I told him, and I had the feelings of love for him for 8 months, I think, at that point.
Okay.
We gave it a shot, and the problem started 2 weeks in the relationship, and they started by us going on a date, which is fine. We went to my friend's gallery opening, where I really wanted to go, and my ex agreed to go with me. And then he wanted to go eat with me, and he paid for it. And when we got to my place after, I was very tired. And we take my dog out, and I was smoking at the time. So I wanted to smoke. And he had this very demanding voice when he wanted something. And he said, I forbid you to smoke. This whole day we did things that you wanted to do, so now you are doing like I wanted things to be done, and you are not smoking. And from that point on, it was just downhill. I'm not saying it was bad for him to not want me to smoke, but you can't demand anything from your boyfriend or girlfriend. You can ask nicely. You can't demand. Like, you are not my boss. You can't tell me what to do. And little by little, his very, very demanding nature came to light. He was always right. And it was very hard to date a person that is always right, because he was invalidating my feelings, because they are just my feelings. So they are not real, even though they are real.
Yeah, it was gaslighting you.
Yeah, he was gaslighting me. I actually still to this day, when I was thinking about what to say in this podcast, I had his voice in my head telling me, that's not how it went, that's not what I said, that's not how things went down. He's like still in my head telling me that I'm delusional and in psychosis, because I'm not.
Oh.
Yeah, that's again, I'm not taking diagnosis from you, thank you. But anyway, he had this thing of putting me down. Like one time, I remember, because I was a vegan at this point and I was cooking, and he didn't do any work. He was jokingly saying that I'm not doing this work or household work because it's not a work for man. And in the beginning, I was laughing about it, but after a while, it's not funny anymore when the guy refuses to clean or do cooking or like any of that stuff, because it needs to be done. So by default, I have to do it. He took so much pride in doing the dishes compared to all the household work and cooking and everything. Just doing the dishes and wanting praise for it, I'm not living for it at all.
Yeah, it's always the same thing. Like, they do one thing right and they want praise all day, while you did everything else, and you're like, you're shitting me, right?
Yeah, it's crazy. And the thing with the cooking was that he asked me once if I would be willing to cook meat for him. And I told him I'm not willing to do that. And instead of cooking his own like food or adding meat to the food I was doing, he decided to tell me that my cooking is shit.
That's nice.
Yeah, that's so polite. I once went to I was cooking. I was actually doing the bolognese that you tasted.
But it's so good.
I know. And I was doing cooking that, and he came to the kitchen and told me, "Oh, that's vegan shit again."
But it's so good.
And I was so offended.
You should.
Yeah, I was.
You don't get the right to say shit about someone's food if you never cook.
Exactly. When I was cooking for the both of us, and you are coming to the kitchen and telling me it's shit.
Go fuck yourself.
And he went to our friend group and he told it as a joke, and my friends were coming to me and laughing about it to me, like how funny he is. And I dare my listeners, don't do this really, but like go to your spouse and tell that their cooking is shit and let's see how happy they are. Like, I don't see how, what is the context that this becomes a funny joke? Like, tell me the context.
I have a story about this with my current boyfriend, because he loves like duck.
Yeah.
Like a specific piece of duck. It's called magret de canard. I don't know how it's called in English, and I don't care.
Is it the liver?
No, not the liver at all. It's like
Okay.
I think it's close to the breast in a chicken. I think it would be close to that, I guess, with the shape. Not sure
anyway.
where it's from. Yeah, it's his favorite food ever. So one of the first time I cooked for him, I decided to cook that to please him.
That's cute.
And it was the first time I was cooking it. And it's supposed to be very, very rare. Like, not very rare. It's supposed to be medium rare. something like that, and I overcooked it a bit. Yes, it was overcooked. I'm not lying about it. It was overcooked. But he talked about it for weeks. It was like, I cooked for you for hours and you're saying that it was shit. Go fuck yourself.
Yeah.
So, and at some point, I was like, this is not funny. Can you stop it already? And he was like, oh, but I thought it was funny. And I was like, who do you think it's funny for?
It's
not
funny,
funny.
only if two are laughing.
Yeah, it wasn't funny. I was hurt every time. And then he stops and he never mentioned it again. Sometimes he does like little things like, you remember the duck? And I was like, and all the time I was like, this is not funny. I told you it's not funny. Stop mentioning it.
Yeah, so he's teasing you about it now.
Yeah, and now, because he's afraid that I will react the same way, whenever I cook, he says, it's delicious.
Oh.
Whether he likes it or not, he says, it's the best meal I ever had, it's delicious. And I'm like, you don't have to lie. You just don't have to mention the thing that I did not great all the fucking time. There's a difference. There's a difference in saying like, oh, you overcooked it a bit. And that's okay. And just leave it at that. And mention it 2 weeks, 2 years later. Because it's been 2 years and I still hear about it.
So maybe this is a guy thing, that they think that insulting your cooking is funny. But guys, it's not. It's not funny. It's not funny at all. Anyway, he was obviously right about everything. So we had ridiculous arguments. Like, he was saying that he doesn't have to recycle if he doesn't want to, which is true. This is also a thing. I've had this discussion with guys before, and they are saying they are like proud of the fact that they are too lazy to learn how to recycle, which is, it blows my mind. Like,
Are they dumb?
I don't know, because in Finland there is a recycling center in every apartment. Only if you have your own house. And still, even if you own your own house, many times there's a shared recycling center for the houses. And there are public spaces where you can recycle. So just to say that I'm too lazy to recycle and to think like you found the ultimate armor, that you don't have to do it because you are lazy, it's like, it boggles my mind. And my favorite argument with him, apart from the fact that he told me that I have to get an abortion if I become pregnant, even when I told him that I don't want to get an abortion if I'm pregnant, was him telling me that when in Finland we can get our own fireworks for New Year's, and I was telling him that every year I'm picking up the trash that people leave behind, because they are just leaving everything, the packaging and everything everywhere, which is horrible. If you want to like shoot your own fireworks, please pick up the trash after you. I think that's not too much to ask. And we had an argument because he said that if he doesn't want to pick up the firework, someone from the city is going to pick it up at some point, so he doesn't have to do it.
Oh, that's trash human beings.
I know.
They should be picked up and never looked at again. Sorry, but I really hate people who think like, oh, but there's someone paid to do that. Yes, but you don't have to make their job harder. It's already shit.
Yeah, and I think that's also what I've heard from people who are not recycling. They are like, someone is going to pick it up anyway, or someone is going to recycle it anyway at the recycling center, so I don't have to do anything. And that's like a little kid that doesn't want to do their responsibility, in my opinion. That's like, it's the easiest thing to do, to pick up your own trash or put it to the trash can that is, in Finland, we have a trash can every 20 to 30 meters. Maybe I'm exaggerating. It depends, at the parks anyway.
It's not far from the truth. We have been on walks and picking up trash together, and you truly have like trash can everywhere. In France, it's difficult to find one, I think.
I know. I tried picking up I was picking up litter in France because it's a hobby of mine, and I had more litter than I could carry, and there's not a trash can inside, and I had to stop because I couldn't physically carry any more trash, and there are no trash cans anywhere. It was tragic.
That's why it's difficult in France. I think many people are like maybe trying a bit, and when they don't find a trash can right away, they're like, oh shit, don't care.
Yeah.
And for the abortion part, just before you say anything, I want to be clear. If you are not the one carrying the child, you have an opinion if it's yours, but you don't have a vote. You don't have a say. The girl does what she wants.
Exactly.
And if you didn't want any child, there is contraception method that you can try. If you don't believe the girl is doing contraception and you don't want to use condoms and shit like that, there is male contraception to try. Don't come to us saying that you should have the right other thing you're not carrying.
Yeah, and vasectomy is an option because he was telling me. I told him that I wouldn't be able to have an abortion if I became pregnant. That is me. Like, I think that I wouldn't have the heart to go through with it. And he was like, no, you would get an abortion. And then he went to Wikipedia and he found the limit or the amount of time when the baby becomes a human being according to the doctors, and he said according to the doctors it's X months in when the baby becomes a human being, so you would be getting an abortion. I would tell you to get an abortion. And they were like, I just told you I wouldn't go through with it. Can we instead discuss birth control methods or something? This is not the discussion. Because, he was telling me what to do. He was taking evidence, and of course, evidence only worked when it was suiting his needs to, why his voice is more important than mine in the relationship. This went on for a couple of months. And now I have to, before this next part, that was a big sore point in our relationship, I have to tell you a story about what he was like before we dated. So we were going to a same location in the morning, and I was the only person with the car. I was supposed to pick him up. And he tells me the day before that he needs to go to the store before I pick him up. And I said, okay, go to the store and I will pick you up from the store. And this man threw the tantrum of the century. He's debating me that no, I have to go to his house, pick him up, and then we go to the store so that I have to wait in the parking lot. He couldn't take the 15 to 20 minutes to walk to this store and then do his shopping so that I just take him from there and we go to the location with the car. He only accepted a yes from me as an answer because he didn't want to make the walk. And now I want to ask you, if he threw a tantrum when I said no to him to something, how was he like in the relationship when I said no to something?
He threw a tantrum.
Yes, he threw a tantrum. And then, are there any things in the relationship that it would be very important for your partner to be able to say no to?
Yes, I can think of a few things. One in particular.
Yes. And yes, it's sex. And this guy is putting me down, insulting my food, is always right. And if I didn't want to have sex with him, he started telling me that I am a bad girlfriend because I'm responsible for his sexual needs, which is total bullshit.
What? Sorry, but it's so truly what the fuck, dude?
I was a shitty girlfriend because I was responsible for his sexual well-being after we started dating. That was my duty. My duty was to please him sexually.
Sorry, I'm just gonna cut you. In France, not so long ago, it was like if you were married, you had like devoir conjugal, and it was like you had to have sex with your husband, and if you don't do it, it's like illegal.
Really? Oh my
Yes,
god.
it was a thing. It was a thing.
Oh, that's so sad.
But you had to be married.
Okay.
Doesn't apply to you.
And then they are wondering why women don't want to get married. I don't know why.
It doesn't exist anymore. But
Thank
it was a
God.
thing.
Okay. And if that didn't work, that he was telling me how much of a shit of a girlfriend I am.
It really gets you into a mood.
Doesn't
you know?
it?
Your shit girlfriend. Just have sex with me. It gets me into sexy mood, you know? Being treated like shit. I just want to have sex right away after that.
Yeah, like, oh my god, that's true. Put your dick in me. What a shitty person I am.
What the fuck, dude?
I know. He was like a giant baby. This obviously didn't work, so he changed tactics. His next tactics was, no one wants to love me. I'm so ugly that you don't want to fuck me. So he went into this pity mood.
Oh no, that's worse. Sorry. That's not even better.
Yeah, I know. And the last tactic was kind of get mad at me, and this could go on for hours. So if I said no to him, he would become a moody little man baby.
Sorry, but when you talk about it like that, it only feels like he was always a little man baby. There is no time in the relationship where he was not a little man baby throwing temper tantrums.
But he wasn't like that when we were friends. That's like, how was I supposed to know apart from the car ride? Because he later told me that when someone says no, it's not a no, it's a start of a debate.
No.
To see who is right.
That's bad. That's truly bad.
It's bad. Especially when you combine this with, and I quote, I don't believe in apologies.
Oh no! It keeps getting worse. How?
I know. That's why it was only a 2.5 months.
Yeah, maybe it was too much.
It was. He also wasn't working. I have this nag and
Do you love unemployed men?
yes, that's get me going. Tell me you are unemployed and you start calling me a shitty girlfriend if we don't have sex, and my legs open on the table. So this was the part of my life where I told you in the first episode I collected all the shitty men in the city. I flocked them together, I dated each one of them, and then now I'm a better person for it.
Are they a better person for it? I hope so.
Me too. So anyway, it was not a rosy relationship at all, and even when we went to parties, people would tell us that something is off and that our like balance in the relationship, it feels like he's the boss and I'm like a servant.
Oh, great!
Yeah, doesn't that put you in the mood?
Yeah, I love being your slave, master. You don't even bring the cash. I'm doing all that by myself, and then I'm a slave. Yes.
Yeah, don't worry, honey. Meat is on the menu, and I just open my legs.
Sometimes boys will be like truly shit human beings. That's insane.
I have to say this one thing before I go to the end of our relationship. I remember once, because I was dreading the times when he wanted to have sex, because it was going to be a fight every time, like, or moping attack, or like he would cry sometimes. And then one time he was at my apartment for 3 days, and we didn't have sex for these 3 days. And he told me when he was leaving, he was at the door, and he said, "Thank you so fucking much. I have been in pain for this 3 days." Because he said that he has blue balls.
Sorry. That doesn't exist, but yeah.
I think it exists. Like there is this pressure in the balls of men if they have been like teased.
Yeah, but just go to the bathroom, jerk off, and then...
But he told me that he doesn't wank. He said that he's not jerking off because it's my responsibility as his girlfriend to deal with that.
I just can't. How does this man exist?
I know.
I cannot understand how something like this possibly exists. Sorry, it's just insane.
And how was this gem single at 30 years old? This diamond.
Truly.
Yeah, and he would actually say that he has blue balls also when I would hug him or kiss him. And then he would just tell me after the kiss or hug, okay, now I'm going to be in pain for the rest of the day.
Oh no, that's not good.
Doesn't that put you in the mood? You are not allowed to touch him, you are not allowed to kiss him, but you have to fuck him.
Yeah.
And obviously he realized that something is wrong in the relationship because, well, what am I supposed to do in that situation if I'm not allowed to like touch him without him starting to complain to me or kiss him? So he started saying that I'm relationship phobic because and I have attachment issues because I'm pulling away from the relationship.
What?
Yeah. And I left him.
But the dude is insane.
He is not insane. He just is he is the holder of objective reality.
No. He doesn't have the right reality in mind. Like, he has the reality where women are objects. Yeah, if
Yes.
you are a sex doll, why not? But you're not a sex doll.
I'm your favorite bang maid. Let's get to it. But yeah, I'm extremely sarcastic when I say that he had the objective reality. Like, because when he said something that offended me, he told me that he has the right to choose his motives. So he didn't mean it in a bad way. So it's my fault because I got offended. But when I say something that offends him, he has the right to be offended.
Yeah, but it's the type of person who just thinks of themselves and not anyone else.
Yeah, and he wants to be right all the time.
But that's like, not a human being. That's a fucking machine. And even machines are wrong sometimes. So just shut up. That doesn't exist, being right all the time. And if you think you are right all the time, something is wrong with you. Check yourself.
Yeah, actually, people told me after the relationship that he has this huge knack that he has to be right all the time in every situation. And then people told me that he seemed selfish, but somehow I didn't see it before we dated. So I left him. And actually, when we were having a fight about something, he was very good at starting a fight. He would beg me to leave him sometimes.
What?
Which was, yeah. Imagine a guy who is telling you your food is shitty, your emotions don't matter, you're living in a different reality from everyone else because you are not right at all in any point, and then he's begging me to leave him. It was a roller coaster ride, let's just say.
Yeah.
He had also, because he wasn't working, like I told you earlier, he would keep me awake during the night, and I had to wake up for work. So I would be tired in the morning because he wouldn't just shut up when I needed to go to sleep.
You can see it because we are not making a video of it, but I'm just like having my eyes open wider than is humanly possible at each sentence she says. So you can have my mood. I'm like, just, what the fuck is happening? What the fuck happened?
I know. And I didn't even realize what's wrong at the relationship at the time. I have read some books. I have read about sexual coercion, like a lot. And I was like, oh my, that describes him quite a bit. After our relationship, I told my friends want nothing to do with him anymore. And because I didn't talk about his behavior with my friends, they just thought I'm the bitter ex.
Yeah, seems like it. I don't want to ever meet him, but yeah, great dude.
Well, obviously, because I wanted nothing to do with him.
Yeah.
Because they still saw him as this great friend and a great human being, which he was without the no part and no apologies part and being always right part. He was a good dude, a good friend. So after the relationship, I didn't tell my friends what went wrong with it. And one time I was at my apartment with one of the friends, and he asked me what was wrong with it, like why I don't want anything to do with this person, my ex. And I told him why I don't want anything to do with an ex, and guess what he did with this information?
I know the results already, so I'm just gonna say it. He went to him to tell him.
Yes, exactly. So then I'm bombarded with messages from my ex saying that he's going to come to my apartment and he's going to take his friends with him and he's going to make sure that I confess that I'm a liar and that I have to apologize to him. Yeah, I'm like, I'm not going to do that. Like, why would I do that? I'm not going to apologize. I didn't want to talk with him. Of course, it would have been the best to try and talk about it with him, why our relationship ended.
But he's not gonna hear it.
Yeah, exactly, because he wasn't hearing it. He wasn't hearing any of my complaints. Actually, after the relationship ended, this is how I know that he wouldn't have taken my advice or my concerns or anything into consideration was that I told him. I told him that I didn't feel like myself. I felt like you didn't hear my emotions and my side. I didn't feel good in the relationship. And his response was, no, we were perfect.
The dude is mad.
He really thought that the relationship was perfect, and I just pulled away from him and stopped loving him. He saw nothing wrong with his behavior. So how do you talk with that kind of a person? There's nothing I can say that would make him change his mind. Nothing. So an other friend from the friend group started messaging me on Facebook and started talking about the behavior of my ex. And we went back and forth for 2 days, but in the end, he told me that I am delusional.
Oh, great.
And I need to seek help because I'm living in a completely different reality. And at that point, I went, okay, nothing I tell you is going to change your opinion about this guy, because he was telling me that I have known this guy for 10 years or something, like, I know what he's like. And I'm like, okay, so when you guys have had sex, he's okay with you saying no or what? Like, you don't know what he's like in a relationship when no one is seeing us, you know?
Yeah.
Because he wasn't like that to me at all. He wasn't a polite guy to me at all. And when my ex-friend told me that I need to seek psychiatric help, I told him, thank you. You have been a good sport over the years and you have been a good friend. I meant to say that I don't want to continue the conversation. I appreciate him as a friend and I'm not going to associate with him anymore, because what would I do with a friend who is saying that I'm delusional and he's 100% siding with my abuser? I don't do anything with a friend like that.
Yeah.
And guess what happened 20 minutes after I sent him that message?
That I don't know.
My ex texted me.
Oh.
And he said, are you ready to have the talk now? And I connect the dots in my head. And I'm like, okay, I haven't been talking with my friend for the past 2 days about my ex-boyfriend's behavior. I have been talking with my ex-boyfriend, who has been telling my friend what to say, or they have had conversations about what I have had to say about him. And my friend has been reporting my abuser the whole conversation, all this day. How else would my ex-boyfriend have known I'm ready to seek psychiatric help? Because that's what they thought my message of thank you, you have been a good friend meant.
That's not great.
Yeah. So it was sad because I lost the whole friend group because none of them came to my support. Not even the people that I have known since I was a child. And I'm sure because my ex, went to every one of his friends and told them that I'm accusing him of being a shitty boyfriend and stuff. He went to them and none of them reached out to me. So I was like, okay, I'm going to have to cut these people that have been in my life for more than 10 years at this point. I have to cut them. What do I do with friends like this that are, even if they think that the fault wasn't completely on my corner, which it wasn't, I wasn't perfect, but it wasn't 100% of my corner. If they are silently accepting his accusations without even asking me, they are not my friends. They are not my friends. And I was left with a couple of people. So I lost all my friends at the same time. I lost my hobbies and what I thought was my support network at the same time. And that was very depressing. I actually saw a therapist after. And I saw 2 sexual therapists after. And I'm still in sexual therapy. And that was that saga. I haven't heard from the friends after. I have seen some of them at random locations, at the store or a pub or something, and I talk nicely to them, but I'm not associated with these people anymore. And it was sad. I was very sad. I actually was on leave from work because of that, because I was so depressed. I was just crying in bed after.
Yeah, it's difficult because I know about, it's maybe not the same thing, and I'm not gonna say it's the same thing, but in my first relationship that I talked about in the first episode, the dude couldn't take a no for an answer. And most of the time I was like, no, I'm not in the mood, no, I don't want, and he was not having a tantrum. It was like, just a bit, just a tip.
Oh my god.
It was begging all the time. And the favorite thing that it did was saying me, just let me sleep in.
What?
I'm not gonna move, just let me sleep in.
What kind of sex is that?
And obviously, he was just in, and then he started to move.
Whoa.
And then it was done, he was already in.
That's horrible. That's so sick. I'm getting mad for you.
And he tried also the oops, wrong hole.
No, he didn't. No, he didn't.
He did.
No, he didn't.
It hurt so much. It ended things right there.
Yeah.
It was just, what the fuck happened?
I'm so sorry. I didn't see that it's your wrong mailbox. What the fuck, dude? That's so horrible because I actually had one internet friend earlier in life. He talked about this with me. He was like a horrible dude and he was going out with a girl. He came online one time and he told me, I tried to fuck my girlfriend in the ass and now she doesn't want to see me anymore. And why wouldn't she let me do that? And he did it mid-sex, changing the hole without her permission. And then I was like, well, would you like someone to fuck you in the ass? And he got so mad and so defensive, no one is touching that hole, that's so disgusting. And I'm like, I wonder why she didn't want you to do it then without permission. I'm just wondering here what might have been the reason. And I ended contact with the guy. I saw a post on Facebook and it said that I found a guinea pig from the corridor of an apartment complex and that they took the guinea pig home and tried to get it to health. And the guy I was talking to at the time, and I mean I was chatting with him, I wasn't flirting with him. He had a guinea pig. And I just had this feeling. And I went to the online and asked him, did you just release your guinea pig to the corridor of your apartment complex? And he's like, how do you know that? And I'm like, oh my god, you are even worse. You are a trash human being. If you don't want your pet anymore, find a new home for the pet. I have rehomed guinea pigs. It's not that difficult. You just have to take care of them till someone who has the capacity to take care of the pet comes and picks it up. It's not that bad. And I stopped talking with him after that.
Yeah, you shouldn't be talking to someone like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it took me years, taking back to the subject, it took me years to realize that in France, legally, it's called rape. Because, like, there is something like you cannot just have sex with your partner just because you want to and the other one doesn't want to. It's not a thing, you cannot just have it. So it's called viol conjugal. It has a different name than rape between partners, but it's a thing, and I'm not like, maybe I should, but there is no proof, and it's been years, and yeah, there's only my words against him, so
yeah, that's what it usually is.
Yeah, so I don't want to bother going to the police, because I already did for a friend of mine. I accompanied her, and it was, let's just say, I wanted to murder someone when I was at this place.
Really?
Yeah. We were at, we have two kinds of police, if we can say. We have a military police, it's called gendarme, and we have like police nationale. And we went to the military police because it was the closest, and I thought that this was our police precinct. I was wrong, but my bad. I didn't get the right info on internet. But who cares? When you go to a precinct, whatever precinct it is, they have, like, this is an obligation. They must take your complaint. They have to. It's the law. So we went to this precinct, and she started, to be truthful, to tell why she was there. And there were two police officers, and one was a female. That's what makes it harder, I think. And a guy. And they said, start talking.
Start talking?
Yeah, like, start talking, like, tell us the story in the middle of, like, everyone.
They didn't take you guys to a room or something?
No. We were, like, at the bar or anything, like the thing that is, like, higher. I don't remember words, please don't be mad at me. Yeah, so they said that she had to talk about it, like, in public.
Whoa.
There were no one, but still. And they made it start once and then start another one because they bring a third person to tell the story.
What?
We are still in the
public area or something?
Yeah, like where you land in, like, the first room where you, like, can talk to someone, where you can be redirected to a fucking room. But never mind. So she has to tell the story twice, and at the end they say to her, they just said, you didn't leave, like, it's not right, and we won't take your complaint, just go somewhere else.
Oh my god.
That's what they said, and we left. She was crying. I wanted to climb this fucking high bar and just murder their ass.
Yeah.
It was horrible. It took years for her to be able to start the process again. And the dude is in jail.
Really?
Thanks so much.
Oh my.
Yeah, because she started the process again. And yeah, she had the right to fucking complain. And he's in prison right now. And it feels so good to know that the dude is in prison, because he was such a bad dude. Like, it was horrible. And not my story to tell. But just, I remember going to this precinct and hearing her story. That was horrible, and they just kicked her out. This is why, even though I was raped by this guy in a relationship, I won't, I think, ever go to the police because nothing happens. In France, it's really difficult to get it, any kind of justice, because every time it's just your words against his. We have really bad. I talked about it in the last podcast about feminicide and stuff like that. Like, it's a real issue. We had a woman who was murdered by her ex-partner, and he was actively being looked by the police. Like, they were wondering where he was because he was supposed to be arrested and in jail, but he fled. The guy came to a precinct, said, "You are looking for me, please arrest me." They said, "Oh no, we don't deal with that.
What?
Go home." He then gets home and kills the girl.
Whoa, that's a horrible tragedy, actually. That's horrible. There's no other word.
Yeah, he could have been arrested before, but nothing happened because they were lazy and because they don't want to believe women. Like, a fucking Ministry of Interior, Ministre de l'Intérieur, he's accused, because I don't want to go to jail, but accused of raping girls. And he's the chief of police!
Whoa, talk about corruption. Like, no one can touch him.
Yeah, in France we call the Minister of the Interior, it's called Premier Flic de France, First Policeman of France. So, he's literally above everyone else, and he's actively being looked at for raping girls.
It's a problem, yeah.
Yeah, and he didn't quit. It's been like 4 years that we know.
Whoa.
And he's still
in office.
Yeah, it's not a new thing. Everybody knows.
Oh my god.
Yeah. And nobody cares. Like, in France, our politics is really insane. Like, we have the first attorney, like, he's been looked at for conflict of interest and embezzling money, and
Whoa.
Yeah, he's still in place as well.
Well, that gives another layer to it. I have to admit, I don't follow French politics. I did when I was living there, but I couldn't vote when I lived there, so I didn't care that much.
It's funny because Finland is usually a good example of what is better.
Yeah.
Because I don't know if it's Finnish, actually. You can tell me if I'm wrong. But we heard a story where a women minister, like, bought some chocolate or something like that with credit cards that he was supposed to be to the ministry and resigned.
Yeah, we have had a lot of resignings, but I don't know about this story. That's not familiar.
Okay, maybe it's not yours country. Maybe we approximated a lot of story and make this one. But we have, like, people who are actively looked at by the justice and who are in a position of power. And it seems that you guys don't have that.
No, I think they have to resign, like, before the investigation starts, because the people don't want to have them in power, so they have to resign. And they are resigning or they are resigned. I actually am currently not watching the news because I'm on a mental health break, and it has been now for 5 months, actually, of not watching the news, and I can say that I'm doing better than I did when I was watching the news.
I should be doing that, but I can't not watch the news. And it hurts me to my core, because I'm too much, like, I have too much emotions. I feel too much. Like, I cried when the US left Afghanistan. I cried in my car every day to work, and I was like, it's not okay. The girls there, they won't have a life. And I was crying all the time. And I'm not okay with the news.
Yeah, for me I started playing a game, and the name of the game was how many minutes can I watch the morning or evening news without getting triggered? And I was getting to 2 minutes from the 25 minutes of the news, and I was like, I don't think this can go on, because it would leave me on a foul mood all day. So I haven't been watching the news. I'm not completely cut from social media, so I still get some news. But I still feel like, actually, before we started recording the old podcast, I went to the news webpage because I had some time to kill. And the immediate first reaction from me is that Russia is going to invade Finland. And I felt like shit. And I was like, okay, I'm continuing my news boycott for my mental health. Like, I can't.
I understand. And if people ask if there is a war in Ukraine, there is already that. In Finland, you are welcome to my house. I told you that, but I want to say it's horrible. I don't, and it's difficult because in France we have helped a lot of Ukrainians, and I think it's great. But the only thing that we saw for many people is that we didn't do anything to help Afghanistans, and we didn't do anything to our Syrians. We didn't find any of what we find home and home. Like, they opened the borders and we had people say, oh yes, we are treating them differently because they are white.
Oh. Yeah, I like I don't have word for this. That was also one of the reasons why I stopped watching the news, because I have been following them actively since I was 16, and I stopped when I was 31 years old. And I have seen the people saying to the Syrian people and Iran people and Iraq people that they don't want to help them, they don't want to send money, they don't want to do anything about it. And then when they flee their home countries, they don't want to help them here. And this also breaks my heart, and I can't watch it. It's like, you don't want to do anything before there is a conflict. You don't want to do anything when there is a conflict, and you don't want to do anything after the conflict to help, because you are living in your happy bubble. I feel like it's like, I got mine. I don't care if anyone gets theirs. And I don't resonate with this kind of attitude at all.
I don't either. Like, and there is like difficult things, even for people who don't think we should help anyone of who isn't French, because there are people who think like that. I mean, like, if we have the money, like, to put every Ukrainian baby in, like, taking care of them in crèche, I don't know how to say it in English, daycare, that's the word. And, like, French people are trying really hard to, like, have a spot in daycare. It's really difficult. And then they find hundreds of spots in daycare for these children. And I'm really happy that they are having the care that they need. But it's really difficult to see that when French people don't have it. And you're like, but if we had the means before, why didn't we use it before? And we should be helping everyone.
Everyone, yeah. That's what I wanted to say as well.
Yeah.
I want equality. And now our podcast is radicalized.
Yeah, but it's the Outspoken Two. We are outspoken.
That's true. I do like that. The radicalized Outspoken Two.
Yeah. My boyfriends always say I'm a communist. I'm not, though, but because he thinks my ideas sometimes are too much helping people.
Have you actually, this reminds me, have you actually seen on the internet when there are people like who are saying that communism is bad? Actually, the things that they are describing are very capitalistic. I have seen this on the internet so much.
I haven't really, but I can say that the idea of communism I think, can be a good idea, but it's never been well implemented. I don't think our population, humanity, our species, is capable of communism in a good place, because there will always be a Stalin. That's it. There is no way of making it work as it is, because there will always be a Stalin. Someone who wants power more than anything else.
I think our society is constructed in a way where we have a hierarchy, and this already makes it possible. It's just, and it's not, I don't think it's the natural state. I think everyone should be equal. We should think about the plants and the animals, and we just don't know the best way to live yet. And I would be open to good suggestions about that.
Oh, I have one. I've been suggesting my idea for a while, and we can talk about it if you'd like. I should be a fucking dictator, but a good one.
Immediately going to the opposite end, like, make me a dictator.
But a good one. I have a good idea.
Actually, this gave me an idea. How about next week we make ourselves dictators? And
Yes.
let's see what changes we would make.
Yeah, actually, I have a great idea to end all the world's problem. You can make me a dictator. That's what I was saying to people. And I'll develop this idea in the next episode. So stay tuned.
That's a teaser right there.
You'll see. I'm a great dictator in the next episode.
I can bet. So, next episode, we both will be dictators, and let's see if we come up with a similar system to our dictatorships.
So that's all for this episode. Do you not have anything else to add, Karoliina?
I'm a better dictator.
We'll see. We'll see. So we invite you to follow us on social media. You can find us on Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, Facebook. And you can find us on any podcast platform. If you have any question or something you would like to tell us, you can email us at theoutspoken2@gmail.com. Thank you so much, and catch you guys next time. Bye!
Moi moi!
Dun, dun, dun.
In the next episode...
Marion, dictateur! Marion, dictateur!